Hey, hey, what's going on? Just reaching out it's a Monday morning. Um, if you notice, I couldn't get in my closet this morning because my closet fell down. I guess that's a good problem to have. But I haven't been able to get one of my baseball caps in, and my hair is looking really, really bad today. So I just wanted to talk to you guys today. Just trying to lift your spirits up, helping you make a really good decision today. Um, how you doing, Kristen? I see you on. Um, just let everybody know I'll be calling them as soon as I possibly can. I'm letting everybody kind of get on because I don't want to start talking too much and too deep without everybody getting on. But I'll tell you what happened. For those that kind of watched yesterday, um, I I had a flat tire yesterday, um, and with that flat tire, I saw that I was a block away, so I just drove the car really slow to the tires place. And as of right now, the car is now four new tires on it, so that's a blessing. Got that back on. This morning when I woke up, I noticed that my closet shelf fell and all my clothes fell. So it's just been one of those days. But the good thing about it is God is always good, and He's always there ready to help us. So today is going to be a really good conversation, a really good talk. I'm going to be talking to you guys about these small keys. Do you know how sometimes you have a key ring, or you have this set of keys, and you take a look at it? How you doing, Nicole? Good to see you this morning also. So when you have that little key ring, and when you have those keys, you always have this key that you just don't know exactly why it's on your key ring or why it's in the drawer. And this is what I'm going to talk about to you today. So let me define what these keys are in our lives. So sometimes these keys are people, sometimes keys are knowledge, and sometimes keys are just sometimes just thoughts that we have. So I'm going to talk about the keys as being people. So sometimes we have people in our lives that are kind of insignificant. So when I say insignificant, I'm not saying that they're not important, but they're not really involved in your life that much. So those are the people sometime that we have to tap into. Sometimes we get in situations, or sometimes we get in predicaments, and we forget to look around us, to look at what are some of the people and who are these people that might can help us. I know I'll talk about Leroy for a second. Leroy, me and his sons play baseball together. We coach together, and a lot of times he would go through something, and I would look at him. I'd be like, man, I was right here, and he'd be like, man, I just forgot about you. And it wasn't. I don't take it personal, but I know that sometimes we go through things and we don't want to talk about it with people around us. But sometimes we got to find people who are very trustworthy, and people who have not relinquished some of the information that we've given them. And sometimes those little keys, sometimes you have to test them. You have to test them with a little bit of information just to see what they do with it. And then whenever they withhold that information, then you start to give them a little more. So I want to talk to you also about knowledge. Sometimes knowledge is a key. A lot of times we don't know exactly why we're doing something, or why we're reading this article, or why we're reading this book. But what we're doing is we're putting more keys on that key ring. And sometimes we don't really know when we're going to use that key. But a lot of times we get in those situations, or we get behind a door that just won't open. And sometimes that door won't open because we don't have enough enough knowledge. And so I look at people and I have conversations with people, and if they don't believe that there's a glass ceiling in our work environment, it is. And what I mean by glass ceiling is sometimes we get in situations where we can't get any higher than where we're at because of maybe education. Sometimes we don't communicate with people very well. I've seen people who are very knowledgeable and very smart, but they don't know how to talk it. They don't know how to write it, and so a lot of times they won't move into management positions because they can't write or they can't speak what they know. And so I would tell people that while we're in this corona virus isolation, we might want to start looking at adding some keys to our key ring. It might be just in helping people out. We might be getting. I see Troy on here, and I know Troy's helping out with some nonprofits in the area. Those are keys, and sometimes we are always looking for that key to pay off. But sometimes that key never does pay off. And when it does, we didn't even realize that we needed to know that information. Like, for instance, I grew up, my first job was laying flooring. So I started out with ceramic, did wood floors. And so when I got out of high school, I kind of left that flooring business alone. But I noticed that one time I got in a bind to pay some school, and I went and I did some floors for people. I went and put my card at Home Depot or Lowe's, and I would just get a call and I would try to underbid somebody, give them a really low price just so that I could get the deal. But I never really realized that I would need to know flooring. And so some of you, you might have some of these occupations that you can learn, like plumbing and electrical, just minor details that maybe might help you in the future in situations that you never knew. So, and thoughts, the reason why I wanted to talk about thoughts in this was sometimes those little thoughts that we have might can spiral into a dream that could ultimately spiral into a new life for you. So I'm just reaching out to you and try to tell you to start thinking positively. We have the ability to change the way we think. A lot of times people think that they're in a mood because they want to be. But really and truly, a lot of times, unless you have a really significant mental health, most time it's because we're choosing to be angry. We're choosing to respond in with a depressed mood. Because sometimes the information that we have is not, it's not favorable. So, don't underestimate those little keys, the little thoughts in your mind. Maybe reading some new material, getting some new information under your belt, or just some of the people around you. I want you to start looking at some of those keys that you've been dropping. When you're waiting in a waiting area and you see a magazine, read it. Read the information, because you never know what information. And a lot of times you might. I'll tell people. I talk to people that are looking for jobs. Sometimes you have to find that hot spot. And when I mean a hot spot, sometimes when you're in an interview, you have to start up conversations by looking around the room, looking at pictures, looking at different things. Like he or she might golf, or they might are in the cars. If you can have information about that topic, it makes you a little bit. It gives you an edge in that interview. So I just wanted to reach out to you guys and talk to you. Nothing too heavy, nothing. Um, um, just information that I want to pass on. So just wanted to let you guys know that I got the material to fix the closet. I'm gonna get it up for now, and then after the coronavirus is over, I'm gonna take some advice from Mr. Clay and try to just redo the closet so that it won't have to have that problem anymore. So it's just a little key. Sometimes, and the crazy thing, sometimes we get keys from bad situations. But we make it through it, and as long as we make it through it, we'll be good on the other side. So Good to see you guys. Zach, it was good to see you on again. Angels, good to see you also. So, love you guys. Signing out as the Cadillac Counselor. I can't believe I don't have